Ladies and gentlemen, we are 30 days to Jump Festa. Jump Festa is in 1 month. It is the night of December 19th if you live on the East Coast of the United States. And in this video, we are going to be seeing how the community is feeling regarding Jump Festa. I went back to the video I did last month. I'm going to go through a bunch of comments, give my own thoughts, and just get an overall vibe for how people are feeling. And I read every single comment. We're not going to read every single one in this video, but there's definitely a lot of pessimism, which is totally understandable given what happened last year and just the total lack of anything concrete this year. But 30 days away, let's jump right in. And again, all of these comments are taken from the video that we did last month. I kid you not, I saw this in my subscription box and my first reaction was, oh God, not another one. I hate to be pessimistic, but I become more and more deflated since last Jump Festa. I stand firm on my current state. No matter if something is announced or not, it will not erase the disappointment I've had for the lack of any news since December. Any news, whether it's good or bad, would have been appreciated. It's the lack of news of any kind I hate the most. So two things here. I do agree that the dead silence is very, very annoying. Even if we got something saying, hey, we're working on something or we're not working on anything, that would have been better than dead silence. Not knowing is worse than knowing. But I do disagree. If we get something big announced at this year's Jump Festa, a new show, a movie, whatever it may be, that will cancel out what's been a very bad 2025 for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans, in my opinion. I just want something. I don't care how we get it or how we got to it. At this point, I'm really just desperate for something. Yeah. Yes, you know the hype season has begun when we get a Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything video. Seriously though, man, I'm with you on the optimism front. Next year marks 30 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no way they're not going to give us something. Whether it's a new Rush show, regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, or a movie, just anything besides monthly chronicles at this point would be a blessing. Yeah, I totally agree. I really don't think they care as much about anniversaries as we might think that they do. You know, they made a big deal about how this year was the 25 years since Yu-Gi-Oh! DM anime started, and they gave us nothing. I think this was like the worst year ever for Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime fans. So it being the 30th year next year or the 30th anniversary, to me, is like a big deal for us, but I don't think it's a big deal to them. So, you know, we'll hope for the best. Imagine we get Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 and a new Rush anime at the same time. Yeah, I mean, this is the dream scenario, right? I think the chances of this are literally like 0.5% because I don't believe in 0%. I don't believe in 100%. But this is very, very low. It would be amazing if we had a Rush show and a Master Rule show running simultaneously, especially if they were seasonal and like switched off, being done by two separate studios. That would be the dream, but, you know, we can't get too gluttonous given where we are right now as Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. Guess I'll try to will a 5D sequel / movie into existence then. Yeah, I really think that a GX movie is a much more higher chance than a 5Ds movie, given that it is like the 20th anniversary of GX. We're getting the disaster, which I think has just been an awful way to celebrate that series. I'd love to see a GX movie, and if we get a GX movie, then the spin-off movies become possible, but any movie at this point, especially a spin-off one, is probably pretty unlikely, unfortunately. Either a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game or a new anime. I'd be happy with either. Still hoping for a new Go Rush character unlock in December. Yeah, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I'm hearing that Manya is going to be the next Go Rush character. I mean, what are we doing, man? But yeah, I would love a new video game. I mean, Duel Links is certainly in an interesting state. Master Duel's been really good, but I would love like a Tag Force style game. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to make such creative video games back in the day, and like you just don't see that anymore, and I would love to get a return to form with one of those older games. Maybe do like a Vrain's Tag Force. I think it would be really fun. I sure hope there will be another Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime because I've seriously been waiting for one, but I really don't want it to turn out like Sevens and Go Rush. Yeah, there were a lot of people, and there are always going to be a lot of people that were not fans of the Rush shows. I mean, I enjoyed Sevens, I enjoyed Go Rush. I would be fine with another Rush Duel anime, but there were certainly quite a bit of comments, as there always are in any forum, when discussing a future anime that just are not fans of the Rush shows, whether it's the gameplay, whether it's the styling, you know, whatever it may be, which it is what it is. They have a Jump Festa stage this year to announce something, so we are either getting a new game, new anime, or a new movie. They might announce a new manga or a lore light novel and call it a day. If they announce a game, please don't be another online simulator game or a remaster collection. If it's a new show, please don't be a DM reboot. I can already imagine how it will look, and people are going to be insufferable about it for decades to come. Please just announce a movie alone. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had this level of confidence. I mean, I'm optimistic, but to say worst case scenario is a new game, new anime, or a new movie. They had a Jump Festa last year and they didn't announce anything. I mean, I guess they announced the Chronicles, but I could certainly see them not announcing anything. Any of these things I would take, although if we just got a new game and not like a new show, I would still admittedly be pretty disappointed overall. They better not disappoint us again. Yeah. Liza clearly does not believe the hype of a new show. Yes, I had Liza on the Good Luck Dog. She is with my parents now. We were just watching her for a couple weeks. Yeah, she was not happy about it. I'm going with us getting nothing, but it's so weird. You'd think the anime would tell us on socials if Go Rush was the end or not by this point. If we get nothing, the only thing I can think of is that the GX remaster is the new show, and we'll get a new one when it won't be announced until all of GX Disaster has finished airing for the next 3 to 4 years. I had spoken to someone who is an animator for Go Rush, for Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, very nice guy who worked over at Studio Bridge, reached out to me a couple years ago, and he informed me, or not informed me, but he predicted almost the same thing, where he was like, yeah, maybe they're going to go with the GX remaster, and then when that finishes, they'll do something new at that point. The GX remaster, by the way, I believe is just getting to episode 32. There's 180 episodes of GX, so if that's the case, buckle up. Instead of a new spin-off with a new summoning mechanic, I'd love to see an anime based on the card lore, something similar to what Arcane is doing. Well, we do have the Chronicles, which is basically this. But yeah, I mean, we do have the Chronicles. I'm hopeful, but expecting disappointment, not gonna lie. Yu-Gi-Oh! Reboot is the only promising hint left. Although, to be honest, I'd rather have a Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 that was the third Rush show with rituals to close out that trilogy, and maybe have a different storyline away from the Odo family. Yeah, it really always felt like 7's Go Rush, like that was going to be a trilogy. That's why I was shocked when, for many reasons, when we learned that there was not going to be another show. At this point, though, I feel like whatever Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 is, even if it's a Rush show, I would rather it not maybe lean so heavy into 7's and Go Rush. I feel like with this break and with that barrier of entry, it would be a little intimidating for people that have not watched 7's or Go Rush to get into it. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reboot, which was a banker report prediction, not that it was confirmation by any means, is literally the only good thing that we've had come from that world this year. I enjoy watching anime, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Will always be number one to me. I hope more shows and cards will be made in the future, because the creator wouldn't want his masterpiece anime to be trashed in a bad way or be permanently discontinued. I mean, I fully agree with this. Kazuki Takahashi was always very supportive of all the spin-off shows. We know that he was a consultant to some degree on switching Yu-Gi-Oh! To the Rush shows. People always love to invoke his name when they make a stupid point about how, oh, Rush is such an insult to Takahashi, when, dude, he wanted the shows to continue. He was part of these shows. If he didn't want Yu-Gi-Oh! To continue, he would not have been working with Yu-Gi-Oh! So closely in the background and supportive. Posted a cake picture of Yusaku when Vrains, first announced. Like, he wanted these shows to continue. He wanted these games to continue to reach people and bring people together. I think it really is something that he wanted to have go on for a very long time. And I really, really do hope that we get a Yu-Gi-Oh! Continuation. I really do. I do hope we get something at Jump Festa this year, because next year is the 30th anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! If anything goes wrong, it's going to be depressing. Yeah, well, we do know from last year that things can certainly go wrong. I would really like to see them make one with all the characters from Yugi to Yusaku coming together just like BBT, but instead of a movie, it's a show. I think it would be really cool to see a show with all the characters together and maybe even stay like that forever in a single time. Well, listen, I've been a huge proponent of a Duel Links anime, and a Duel Links anime accomplishes just this. It would also be great for anyone who stopped watching the shows midway, or for anyone who watched the anime, really. Yeah, if you're a huge fan of Arc 5, which I assume this person is, they have the Yugioh pick. If you're a huge fan of Vrains, Zexal, 5Ds, even if you haven't watched any of the other shows, you're going to check this series out because your favorite characters are going to be in it. Dueling, having a point in the storyline, like, dude, there were so many people that got on the Arc 5 train when Jack and Crow were announced that dropped Yu-Gi-Oh! After 5Ds. I think this is a money move, and I think it's a great decision. And I think it would get a lot of eyes on whatever the new series would be. I could see an anime for the new Genesis format. Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, Genesis is only TCG right now. I would be stunned if we got a Genesis-style anime, because that is a format that does not exist in Japan where the anime is created. I think for this to be a thing, Genesis has to come to the OCG. If we get an announcement soon that, hey, Genesis format is making its way to the OCG, then I will start to believe this a little bit more. But to me, that is an all-important prerequisite before there's really any possibility of getting a Genesis anime. The best option is to have a Duel Links show. All the summonings, all the shows, all the characters. Hell yeah. The definition of insanity is doing the same action repeatedly and expecting a different outcome. Well, I agree. I mean, that is a cliche, and that is the definition of insanity. But I think that's a crazy, crazy thing to tie to anybody being hopeful for a new show, considering Go Rush literally only ended 8 months ago. It's not like this is year 5 or 6 of us hopelessly hoping for a new show announcement. We literally had a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime earlier this year. So, you know, if we get to year 3, year 4, year 5, then I will start to agree with this sentiment a little bit more. But we haven't even had a full year with Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game anime being offline. So I can't agree with that take. Before I start saying anything about my prediction for Jump Festa, I'm shocked about how quickly the time has gone. Yeah, I know. I'm 100% convinced we are getting Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 without a doubt. While I understand the lack of response from Konami's end can make it highly unlikely, the reason I feel it's going to happen is because they already announced a lot of what is coming next year to the card game, TCG, OCG, and Genesis. So the overall suspense from Konami makes me believe something big is on the horizon, which I 100% feel like is a new anime. Although if we don't get a new show, I wouldn't mind a DM reboot, or even after that a GX reboot with the potential dub of Season 4. Anyways, I'll just wait for Jump Festa and we'll see for ourselves. Yeah, I mean, listen, I am not at that level of confidence. I am at like a 50-50. I think it is a coin flip. I'm optimistic, I'm hopeful, but the pragmatic side of me thinks it's like 50-50. Man, I hope you're right here, Vital. It would be cool to have a sequel for Arc 5 since it had so much wasted potential. There could be an alternate Seto Kaiba since there's a Blue Eyes structure deck. All the characters deserve their own happy ending. Yeah, I am not really interested in a sequel for Arc 5, but what I am interested in is a redoing the final like 50 episodes, an alternate ending for Arc 5, similar to what like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood did. It didn't really build on like the ending of the original Full Metal Alchemist, but it did a different story path that was more accurate to the manga. I am in total favor of Arc 5 starting again right at the end of the Synchro arc, or even at the end of the Standard Dimension, and doing an alternative storyline. I think the potential there is really, really interesting and really exciting. It would be a lot of fun. Yes, my favorite time of year where Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything speculates on potential Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime only for our hopes and dreams to be crushed. Fingers crossed, though. Let's effing go. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think I've said anything that's overly optimistic. I don't think I've gone on here at all and said we are absolutely getting a new show. You guys know my stance. I'm hopeful. I'm laying out all the facts. In this video, we're getting the vibe of how people feel. But I'm giving it a 50% chance that we get nothing, and it'll be another disappointing year. Cope Festa, let's go! Anyway, to be honest, I'm leaning pessimistic. I'm on the 25 to 30% side of there being an announcement, since there hasn't been any indication at all from Konami / the powers that even hint at it when they have had more opportunities than usual to hint at something in the works. They had the concert in the summer, nothing from there. If I were to bet on it, we'll get a promo of the Charmers Chronicles, an announcement for Branded Part 2, and that's it. To be honest, I think it's more likely Genesis format gets announced for OCG than an anime at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's valid. Any opinion you have, hopeful or not, is a valid one. I'm not going to sugarcoat this comment as it won't feel right. I really don't think we are going to get a new series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since they'll probably focus mostly on the Chronicles. It's sad, but wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be the case from now on. A small part of me thinks we might get something again, but I don't want to put my eggs into one basket. Yeah, I mean, again, it's sad to read that, but like it's not a crazy take, and I think it's a valid way to feel given the total lack of communication from Konami. I know the loss of Takahashi is a major blow to Yu-Gi-Oh, but if Dragon Ball can still go on without its original creator, there's also potential for Yu-Gi-Oh anime too. Fully agree with it. Somebody's gonna have to step up. It's an impossible role to fill, right? The shoes are impossible to fill, but for it to happen, someone has to step up, whether that's Masahiro Hikakubo, whether that's a Shin Yoshida, someone is going to have to, and hopefully someone will. There is zero chance of getting new anime at this Jump Festa. Yeah, again, I've seen enough in life where I just don't like to speak in absolutes. So if, to someone saying this, to Vital Bites who said 100%, I don't agree with either. I certainly think saying something is a 0% chance is, or 100% chance is definitely a hot take. Here we go again, Dylan. My fingers crossed for a new show. I still hope that the lore anime made by Konami is like a beta test for an eventual new show, because we know we're getting the Charmers anime after Albaz, but after that, who knows? And that ends in March, and a new anime would start in April, you would think. We're drowning out here. As always, love your content. Thank you so much, Philip. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't have confidence that Konami Animation would even be the studio that does a card game anime, but yeah, who the hell knows? Well, that is kind of a little bit of a pulse of how my community is feeling. If you want to keep the conversation going in the comments, please do. We're 30 days away. I don't think I'll be making another video unless something major drops, like a trademark or something, like an announcement of an announcement, something like that. Otherwise, I'll see you for Jump Festa, and it'll be a fun stream. It'll be a big stream one way or another. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'm excited to continue to talk to you all down below. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.